The name itself travels in hushed tones, Sekot. It is more than a prison, it is a statement, carved into the consciousness of a nation, El Salvador and beyond. A place built not just to confine bodies, but to crush spirits, to erase identities forged in violence. This is the narrative whispered on street corners. It is the unspoken warning in gang territories. The very idea of Sekot hangs heavy, a modern fortress of absolute control. Its reputation, carefully cultivated, precedes any physical encounter. Men who once ruled neighborhoods with iron fists now tremble at its mention. A destination from which it is said there is no true return, not as the person one once was. The fear it generates is a weapon in itself. Long before the first steel door clangs shut, long before the sterile scent of its corridors fills an inmate's nostrils, the legend of Sekot does its work. It speaks of a place beyond reckoning, a black hole for the country's most hardened, those deemed irredeemable by the state. Its construction was swift, its purpose stark and uncompromising, to house tens of thousands, to break the back of the gangs that once terrorized this land. The government of Nayib Bukele presented it as a solution. A final, decisive blow against an endemic plague, a symbol of a new, harsher order. This is not a place of rehabilitation, as understood elsewhere. The word feels alien here. This is a place of warehousing, of ensuring that those within never again see the sun freely, that their influence never again seeps through prison bars to poison the outside world. The stories that leak out are fragmented, filtered through layers of security and official narratives. They paint a picture of stark efficiency, of overwhelming force, of an environment designed to strip away everything: hope, defiance, even the memory of a life before. The world watches, some with approval, others with deep unease, wondering what such a place truly signifies. Sekot stands as a monument, a testament to a government's resolve, or perhaps to its desperation. Its shadow stretches far beyond the physical walls. It touches the families of those inside, the communities they once dominated, the very fabric of Salvadoran society. The prison has become a central character in the nation's ongoing drama. Its name synonymous with an iron will, an unyielding stance against chaos. But beneath the surface of this imposed order, questions linger. What is the cost of such security? What becomes of the men who disappear into its depths? The legend of Sekot grows with each passing day, each new inmate, each unanswered question. The fortress did not rise in a bustling city, nor on a well-traveled plain. Sekot was deliberately birthed in isolation, far from prying eyes, far from easy access. It lies near Tecoluca in the San Vicente department of El Salvador. A deliberate choice, a strategic decision. The landscape itself contributes to its formidable security. Rolling hills, sparse vegetation, a sense of remoteness that amplifies its intimidating presence. Reaching it is a journey, one not undertaken lightly. The roads leading to it are controlled, watched. This isolation is the first layer of its defense. Nature and strategy intertwined. A silent, unyielding guardian. Why this specific location? Secrecy shrouded its initial construction. The project moved with incredible speed, away from the public gaze for a time. This remoteness served multiple purposes. It deterred potential outside interference. It minimized the risk of coordinated attacks or escape attempts aided from beyond the walls. And it fostered a sense of detachment, a place removed from the everyday world, a separate sealed reality for those condemned to its confines. The very air here feels different, heavier, charged with the knowledge of what lies within. The surrounding emptiness speaks volumes. It says, you are alone, cut off, forgotten by the world you left behind. The logistical challenges of servicing such a remote facility are immense, yet they were overcome. Water, power, supplies, all must be brought in under tight security. This constant controlled flow of resources is another checkpoint, another opportunity to monitor, to ensure nothing untoward enters or leaves. The perimeter is vast, patrolled relentlessly, not just by men, but by technology. Drones hum in the sky, sensors lie hidden in the earth. Every approach is a calculated risk for anyone with ill intent. The prison does not simply occupy the land, it commands it. It dominates the horizon for miles around, a concrete behemoth in a sea of green and brown. This careful selection of geography is a hallmark of maximum security thinking. The environment becomes an ally to the jailer. It discourages escape, it simplifies surveillance, it creates a psychological barrier as potent as any steel door. For the inmates, the view from within, if any is permitted, would only reinforce their predicament, an endless expanse of nothingness, a reminder of their complete separation from society. The isolation of Sekot is not merely physical, it is a profound, crushing psychological weight, a key component of its design, a silent enforcer of its unwritten rules. The land itself whispers of confinement. Seacot is a symphony of concrete and steel, a brutalist masterpiece of containment. Its architecture speaks one language: impossibility. The walls are thick, reinforced, designed to withstand almost any assault from within or without. There are multiple layers, each one a fresh challenge to any thought of breach. It is not one prison, but many prisons nested within each other, a series of formidable rings guarding the core. The initial sight is overwhelming, a vast complex, uniform, repetitive, stretching across the landscape like a scar. There are no soft edges here, no concessions to aesthetics, only raw, unyielding function. The message is clear: this place is final. The security measures begin, far from the cell blocks. High fences topped with razor wire, electrified in places. Watchtowers punctuate the perimeter, manned by heavily armed guards, their eyes constantly scanning, their weapons always ready. Advanced surveillance technology is ubiquitous: cameras with night vision, motion detectors, ground sensors. Little happens unseen. Nothing moves unnoticed. The outer shell is designed to deter, to intimidate, to break the will before an inmate even steps inside the primary structures. It is a gauntlet of psychological warfare, waged with architecture and relentless observation. One can almost feel the weight of the gaze. Inside these outer defenses, the complexity deepens. The buildings themselves are fortresses, cell blocks constructed with high-strength materials, doors of solid steel, electronically controlled locking mechanisms. There are no traditional bars on windows that might offer a weak point. Instead, small reinforced openings, allowing minimal light, minimal connection to the outside. Corridors are designed to be easily controlled. Choke points, observation posts, every inch is mapped, every angle considered. The architects of Seacot left nothing to chance. They studied other maximum security facilities, and then they sought to surpass them, to create something new in its severity. Technology plays a crucial, often unseen role. Biometric scanners control access to sensitive areas. Facial recognition software tracks movement. Communications are heavily monitored and restricted. The aim is total information control, to prevent inmates from organizing, from communicating with the outside world, from maintaining their criminal networks. This technological web is as much a part of the prison's structure as the concrete walls. It is an invisible cage, ever present, ever watchful. The steel and shadows of Seacot are not just physical, they are electronic, they are psychological, they are absolute. The design whispers: resistance is futile. Section 4. The unrelenting grip: life within the walls. Daily life inside Seacot is a descent into austere monotony, a world stripped bare. The sun rises, but for many its light is a filtered, distant thing. Routines are ironclad, unchanging, designed to enforce discipline and eliminate individuality. Inmates are awakened early, often before dawn. The sounds are metallic, echoing, the clang of doors, the bark of orders. There are no personal possessions to speak of. Uniforms are basic, identical, further erasing any sense of self. Meals are simple, served with maximum efficiency and minimal interaction. Every moment is controlled, every action dictated. There is no room for deviation, no space for personal choice. The cells are stark, minimalist, often overcrowded according to some reports, designed for sleeping and little else. Human contact is severely restricted. Inmates are kept in their cells for the vast majority of the day, perhaps 23 hours or more. Exercise, if permitted, is in small controlled concrete yards under the constant gaze of guards. There are no workshops for learning trades, no educational programs, no libraries filled with books to escape into. The focus is solely on containment, on incapacitation. The psychological toll of such an existence must be immense. A slow erosion of the mind, a hollowing out of the spirit. Day after day, the same routine, the same four walls. Regulations are numerous and strictly enforced. Infractions are met with swift punishment. The nature of these punishments remains largely hidden behind the walls, but fear of them is a powerful deterrent. Communication between inmates is difficult, often forbidden. Guards patrol constantly, their presence a reminder of the unyielding authority that governs this place. There is no privacy. Every corner is subject to surveillance. Even moments of supposed solitude are likely observed. This constant watchfulness is designed to break down any sense of camaraderie, any attempt to form internal hierarchies or resistance. It fosters suspicion, isolation. The atmosphere is one of tension, of suppressed anger, of deep despair. Hope is a scarce commodity within these walls. The sentences are long. For many, Seacot is the final destination, the end of their story in the outside world. The sheer scale of the facility, holding tens of thousands, means individuals become numbers, lost in a vast ocean of confinement. The daily grind is relentless, unforgiving. It is a life reduced to its most basic elements. Breathing, eating, existing under the unrelenting grip of a system designed for total, unwavering control. The silence from within is perhaps more telling than any report, a silence born of overwhelming pressure. Section 5, Echoes in the Corridors, Tales from the Abyss. The inmates of CSCOT are a cross-section of El Salvador's brutal gang culture, MS-13, Barrio 18. These names, once synonymous with terror on the streets, are now just designations within the prison's ledger. There are no famous prisoners in the traditional sense, no political dissidents or white-collar criminals whose stories capture international headlines. Instead, SECOT holds the foot soldiers, the enforcers, the mid-level leaders of vast criminal enterprises. Men whose lives were defined by violence, whose hands are stained with the blood of rivals and innocents alike. Their notoriety is collective, a chilling testament to the scale of the problem SECOT was built to address. Stories that filter out are often unverified, whispers, rumors. They speak of new arrivals, their bravado quickly extinguished by the stark reality of the prison, of hardened gang leaders reduced to compliance. The sheer weight of the regime, the utter lack of privacy or personal agency, grinds them down. There are tales of psychological breakdown, of men staring blankly at walls for hours. The prison is designed to sever all gang loyalties, to dismantle the internal structures that give these groups power. Inmates from rival gangs are reportedly housed in ways that prevent conflict but also prevent any form of illicit organization. The old rules of the street do not apply here. SECOT makes its own. Managing such a facility requires a unique approach. The guards are a special breed, trained for this environment, likely desensitized to the nature of the inmates they control. Discipline among the staff must be as rigid as it is for the prisoners. Any weakness, any corruption could compromise the entire system. The prison administration remains largely faceless, a bureaucratic entity overseeing an operation of immense scale and complexity. Their success is measured in the absence of news. No escapes, no major riots, just the steady, monotonous functioning of the machine. This silence is their victory, a testament to their control. Notable incidents are by design rare. The security is too tight, the surveillance too pervasive, the consequences of any uprising too severe. The story of SECOT is not one of dramatic escape attempts or violent clashes within. It is the story of overwhelming order imposed upon chaos, of a system so complete that resistance becomes almost unthinkable. The echoes in these corridors are not of rebellion, but of resignation, of lives suspended, of futures erased. The tales from the abyss are less about specific events and more about the crushing daily reality of existence in a place designed to be the end of the line. A place where the past is a ghost and the future is a barren, unchanging landscape. Section 6, the SECOT Blueprint, a global shadow and an uncertain dawn. SECOT has cast a long shadow far beyond the borders of El Salvador. It has become a controversial blueprint, a model for other nations grappling with overwhelming crime and gang violence. Governments watch, some with admiration, seeing in SECOT a decisive, if harsh, solution, a way to reclaim public safety, to demonstrate strength. The prison's apparent success in neutralizing gang influence from within its walls is a powerful argument for its proponents. They point to falling crime rates in El Salvador, to a sense of order returning to once lawless streets. SECOT, in this view, is a necessary evil, a bitter medicine for a virulent disease. However, the SECOT model is also met with profound concern. Human rights organizations raise alarms. They speak of conditions that may violate international standards, of the lack of due process for some detainees swept up in mass arrests, of the absence of rehabilitation programs. The questions are stark. Does security at any cost justify the potential for human rights abuses? Can a society truly heal by creating such places of extreme deprivation? These debates rage in international forums, in academic circles, among policymakers. SECOT forces a confrontation with uncomfortable truths about justice, about punishment, about the limits of state power. The future of SECOT itself is a subject of speculation. As of mid-2025, it continues to operate at capacity, a symbol of President Bukele's mano dura, iron fist, approach. Will it remain a permanent fixture, or is it a temporary measure, a shock treatment for a society in crisis? The long-term psychological and social effects of incarcerating such a vast number of men in these conditions are yet unknown. What happens when or if these individuals are ever released? Or what becomes of a society that relies on such an institution? These are the questions that will define SECOT's ultimate legacy. Beyond the steel, beyond the concrete, its impact on global prison standards is undeniable. It has pushed the boundaries of what is considered acceptable in the name of security. It challenges the very notion of rehabilitative justice. For some, it represents a dangerous precedent, a slide towards increasingly punitive systems. For others, it is a bold experiment, a necessary adaptation to new forms of criminality. SECOT remains an enigma, a place of shadows and whispers. Its story is still unfolding, but its existence has already changed the conversation about crime, punishment, and the price of order in a volatile world. The dawn it heralds is uncertain, potentially brighter for some, potentially darker for the principles many hold dear.